Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Sony being ranked #1 on the Metacritic's 13th annual game publisher rankings. We're also going to be talking about a really exciting project for me personally, the TMNT AAA video game that is in production. No developer stated just yet, but we're going to dive into every detail that we have about that as well. Quickly, before we jump into that, if you could do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, share the video, really goes a long way. I appreciate it a ton, shows your support, and helps get this channel's videos out to more people. Now let's jump into this Metacritic annual game publisher rankings. So Sony ranks #1 this year. Last year, they ranked #2. I believe Microsoft ranked #1 last year. But this year, the average Metacritic score for 2022 releases for Sony was 85.6, which is incredible. It's amazing. That's it. Like, that's the best this year and or for the year of 2022. So that's a pretty big deal. And I wonder how they'll fare this year, as I would more look at their comparisons to previous year Metacritic scores of like their average Metacritic score, if we're really looking at apples and apples, because the ranking list doesn't really matter too much. It's more about how are they faring from year to year. So 85.6 is very solid. Good stuff. And I think we're going to see a lot of great stuff coming from Sony. You know, this year is going to be a big year for Sony. We've got FF16, although not published by Sony, still an exclusive dropping this year. We also have likely Silent Hill 2, as we've heard that game is ready to go apparently at any point. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but that's kind of a rumor mill type of deal. And then also we have the first party game, which is Spider-Man 2, getting a lot of praise already. I mean, from people on the project, of course, so that's kind of biased, but it is probably going to be pretty incredible. I mean, Insomniac hasn't put out a bad game, I don't think, ever, so that would be surprising to me if it was an incredible title. But yeah, then there's other first-party titles which we don't know about. I'm hoping to find out about that before the end of the summer because, well, we haven't had a first-party game release yet, so hoping to see more very, very shortly on that. But very exciting stuff. Congrats to Sony, congrats to the teams that all worked on their games to achieve this 85.6 average score. Now, next, we are talking about TMNT, my childhood right here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles it pretty much wraps up my childhood. I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, even though it's impossible because I'm a human being, right? But anyway, I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle growing up, right? That was kind of a thing for me. And it looks like there's going to be a game coming, and this comes from an interview that was done by Polygon. And basically there's a lot of information that I've got here, and they say that a new different style of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is currently in development, an adaptation of The Last Ronin, the 2020 graphic novel that told a grim futuristic story about the Turtles. In an interview with Polygon last week, Rosen likened the upcoming third-person action role-playing game to Sony's recent God of War titles and said it will be authentic to the story of The Last Ronin arc, which is set in a future where only one of the turtles has survived. Now, we already know what happens. I'm not going to spoil anything. You don't need to worry about that. That's all I'm going to tell you about the story. The Last Ronin will be a primarily single-character game, though Rosen positioned that other characters could be playable in flashback sequences, similar to how the comic series plays out. The primary action is said to center on the only surviving turtle. The arc story was built around a Ninja Turtle who wore a black mask and fought using all 4 turtles' signature weapons, the nunchuck, sai, bow staff, and dual katanas. So using all those different weapons. So already hype, already amazing. So excited about this. Like, this sounds incredible. And it just makes me wonder more about the different possibilities, and I'll dive into those as we continue to talk about the new information we have here. So the good news is, like the comic book, the game will be targeting an older audience, so you don't need to worry about these Nickelodeon, childlike kind of targeted video games. No, this is going to be the real deal. Rosen said there are opportunities for multiple TMNT games aimed at both young and more mature age groups, and that Paramount can take multiple approaches and not dial back to make the game something it shouldn't be, which is also great news. The Last Ronin video game adaptation is being developed by an unnamed studio and is likely a few years off from release. And Rosen also said that they found the right partner to adapt The Last Ronin into an ambitious AAA video game. Rosen said to expect more details in the coming months and years. So, most important thing, no studio named, but they found the right partner to adapt The Last Ronin. And it's going to be a AAA video game. Now, obviously, you know, the PlayStation fan in me is going to be like, oh, how sick would it be if Ghost of Tsushima's developer, Sucker Punch, were working on this? That would be amazing. It would be incredible if we had that. Is that likely happening? I doubt it, but it would be really cool. Sony is known to work with other IP and adapt them with the Marvel games. So is it impossible that they would do that with The Last Ronin? I think it could really appeal if it's done by the right studio. I'm not going to sit here and try to speculate and say, oh, it is being done by a first-party studio from PlayStation, and it's going to be an exclusive, and it's going to be all this stuff. No, I would love if it was done by Sucker Punch, because they've proven that they know what they're doing when it comes to games like this, and I feel like this would be a good fit. But it could also be a third-party studio that's not related to PlayStation's first-party studios, and it could still be very good. Obviously, you know, the quality we get from Sucker Punch or, say, Santa Monica Studio, which I don't think that's the case, is very different. And obviously, being a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles, it would be like the fan in me, the child in me would love to see Santa Monica, would love to see Sucker Punch take on this project. But I highly doubt it. I just don't think that's the case. But I could be wrong. So overall, in terms of speculations of who the studio is, we have no idea. We have no clue who the studio is working on this. But what we do know is it's going to be a mature game, single player, compared to God of War in the style that it's told. And it's going to be very faithful to The Last Ronin. And I'm happy about this. This is amazing. This is what I've been asking for a very long time. I said, why are they doing Batman, Spider-Man, now Wolverine, Deadpool? They do all these characters, but we never have gotten that AAA experience with a Ninja Turtles game. And this is a match made in heaven. Like, it truly, truly is. And I feel like I've never been more excited for a Ninja Turtles game than I am right now for this. But that's kind of where I sit with this right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about both of these things. Number one, what do you think of Sony winning #1 publisher for 2022? What do you think of this TMNT game? Are you as excited as I am? How do you feel about this? Who do you want to see work on this? Do you have any ideas of who they could be if we're talking third party, first party from Sony? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe, like, comment, share the video. It helps the channel a ton. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, link will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.